At last year's business day, the speaker in the morning was a retired Navy SEAL who killed Osama bin Laden. So no pressure.
If you said to anybody 5 years ago that we would be seeing oil down where it is now, you know, $50 a barrel, or if you'd seen gasoline at $2 a gallon, or natural gas at the prices, people would have laughed at you. Who has the energy really determines who is the politically, economically, and militarily powerful country in the world. ISIS has taken more territory. It's now greater than the size of Great Britain. They're the most well-equipped army, one of the most well-equipped armies in the Middle East. They have a lot of money in the bank, and they are where the momentum is. In Europe, I don't think will ever recover. Politically, it probably won't recover. Economically, it's very difficult to see how Germany gets along with Greece. And they will never recover in a manufacturing sense because their competitors in Europe, the European manufacturers, their competitors are in America, maybe Japan. They're not in Russia or in, I don't know, Nigeria, pick your country. So we are going to, because of our cheap energy, everything we make is going to be made cheaper here. The businesses that went abroad to manufacture stuff because of cheap labor, they come back because all of a sudden cheap energy means we're economically competitive. Well, guess what's even cheaper than a low-income Chinese worker? A robot. And we're going to have robotic factories in the United States.
And actually, a couple of people were texting me, is this a future Secretary of Defense? Last November, we had the best month for private sector job growth in the state of Wisconsin since 1990. I could sum up the reaction of the rest of the country is, what the hell is happening in Wisconsin, and could we please have some of it?
After a decade of property taxes going up over and over and over again for the last 4 years, property taxes are lower today than they were 4 years ago. And if our state budget, as proposed, gets passed by the members of the state legislature, the property tax levy on a typical home will be lower in 2016 than it was in December of 2010. And any of you, well, in business in general, but particularly in manufacturing, know that if you can take the money that you'd otherwise would send off to the state in taxes, and you're freed up with that, that's not going to go to a red, shiny sports car. More often than not, that's going to go for a new piece of equipment, right?
Yeah, people like him. He's impressed people by facing off against an angry mob and winning.
Business people, huh? I was here a bunch of years ago when they were taking over the Capitol. And they have a firm belief that you are mostly evil.
It's not nice to walk through the angry mob with your Fox microphone because they really hated us, but
now EPA should stand for enough protection already. Like every bureaucracy, they only grow. And think about who's the kind of person that graduates college and chooses, I want to go work for the Environmental Protection Administration. They tend to be environmental zealots in the first place.
I'm telling you, there's a chance we won't be suing the EPA. And this rule might cause companies to leave Wisconsin for other states. But even worse, it may cause manufacturing jobs to leave not just Wisconsin, but the U.S. and go to places where, say China, where they're not debating carbon dioxide emissions.
Over 30 years, those people saying they are conservative has run between 57 and 60%, never broken 60, never dropped below 55. This country is center-right.
Part of what came out of the recall election is that I think in a much larger sense, the public is watching politics closer. They kind of got engaged during the recall.
The Republican Party, minus controlling the White House today, is in its strongest position in 90 years. We now have control of 69 of the 98 state legislatures. We came out of the election with 247 congressional seats, which is the highest number of Republicans in the House of Representatives since 1928.
When the business community began making the case for, look, if we had lower taxes, lower regulation, if we did not harass businesses the way that we did, if we actually created more worker freedom, you might actually become a magnet for business development. People might want to actually bring their money here and set up a shop. And I think that that's one of the things that's happened here.
We now have given one more big thing on that checklist to say that Wisconsin is open for business. You have the freedom to work anywhere you want without having to be a part of a labor union or not.
If Governor Scott Walker looks this bill over and thinks it would be good for Wisconsin, he signs it, and it becomes a lawsuit in the Dane County Circuit Court. That's how the song goes, right?
I mean, I got a degree from Wisconsin. It's not like you got to be a rocket scientist. We'll work towards, I promise you that, is being a team that everyone can be proud of. And that's a team that's smart, tough, dependable, a team that reflects really the values and things that people appreciate in this state.